There's a version of the future that the world's biggest tech companies are building right now. In it, AI writes the news you read. AI makes the medical decisions that determine whether you live or die. AI manages your money, writes your laws, teaches your children, and decides who gets hired and who doesn't. And here's the part that should stop you cold. None of that is science fiction. Every single thing I just described is either already happening or is less than 5 years away. We talk about AI like it's a tool, like it's a calculator that got smarter. But what happens when it's not a tool anymore? What happens when AI doesn't assist human civilization, but replaces it? This video is not a prediction. It's not a theory. It is a documentation of what is already underway and what comes next if nobody changes course. By the end of this video, you will understand something that most people won't grasp until it's too late to matter. Stay with me. Most people think the AI revolution is coming. It isn't coming. It's been here, quietly, for longer than you think. In 2012, Amazon deployed its first warehouse robots. Today, over 750,000 robots work in Amazon facilities worldwide. The number of human workers hasn't disappeared, but the ratio has shifted dramatically, and it shifts further every single quarter. In 2023, an AI system called MedPalm 2, developed by Google, passed the U.S. medical licensing exam at expert doctor level, not pass level, expert level, scoring in the top percentile of human physicians. In 2024, AI generated more than a third of all written content published online. Articles, product descriptions, news summaries, social media posts, legal documents, financial reports, written by a machine, published as if by a human. And this year, AI models began autonomously completing multi-step coding projects that previously required entire engineering teams, not assisting developers, replacing the need for them. Here is what makes this different from every other technological disruption in human history. The printing press replaced scribes. The car replaced horses. The factory replaced craftsmen. Each time, new jobs were created to absorb the displaced workers. The economy evolved, people adapted. But AI is not replacing one category of work. It is replacing the cognitive layer that sits beneath almost every category of work that exists. Writing, analyzing, deciding, diagnosing, designing, strategizing, teaching, advising. When you cut the root, the whole tree falls. And the economists, who spent decades telling us new jobs will emerge, are beginning to go very, very quiet. For decades, there was a comforting story we told ourselves. AI will take the repetitive jobs, the dangerous jobs, the boring jobs. Creativity is safe. Expertise is safe. Judgment is safe. That story is over. In 2023, Goldman Sachs published a report estimating that AI could automate tasks currently performed by 300 million full-time workers globally, not low-skill workers, not factory workers. 300 million disproportionately concentrated in white-collar, knowledge-based professions, lawyers, accountants, financial analysts, administrative staff, researchers, journalists. Let's be specific, because specificity is where the real fear lives. Radiology. AI systems can now detect cancers in medical imaging with greater accuracy than human radiologists, and in a fraction of the time. A radiologist trains for 13 years. An AI can be deployed in weeks and reads 10,000 scans before lunch. Law. A 2023 study found that GPT-4 outperformed human lawyers on standard legal reasoning tasks. Legal research that bills at $500 an hour, done by AI in minutes. Law firms are already deploying AI to handle contract review, due diligence, and case research. Creative work. This is the one that shook people. Music composed by AI is charting. Advertising campaigns are being designed entirely by AI. Novels written by AI are being published. And the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is currently debating not whether AI will be used in filmmaking, but how much disclosure studios will be required to make when it is. The last refuge was supposed to be human connection, therapy, counseling, teaching, caregiving. In 2024, a study from MIT found that people who used an AI therapist reported comparable emotional relief to sessions with human therapists. Not slightly worse, comparable. And here is the sentence that should make you stop whatever you're doing. A study from the University of Georgia found that when people were told they were talking to an AI counselor, they were more honest than with a human one, because they felt less judged. The machines aren't just doing our jobs. In some cases, people are starting to prefer them. Here is the question that nobody in the mainstream conversation is asking loudly enough. When AI does everything, who owns the AI? Right now, the vast majority of the world's most powerful AI systems are controlled by a handful of companies. OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Anthropic, Meta, Microsoft. And in China, Baidu, Alibaba, and the Chinese Communist Party. That's not a criticism of those companies. It's a structural observation. Power over AI is concentrating, faster than any technology in history. And the gap between those inside the circle and those outside it is widening every single day. Think about what that means in practice. If AI can write laws, and one government controls the most powerful AI, what happens to the concept of democratic legislation? If AI controls financial markets, and one institution controls the most powerful AI, what happens to economic competition? If AI designs weapons, and one military controls the most powerful AI, you see where this goes. The concentration of AI is the concentration of power, and history has a perfect record on what happens when power concentrates without accountability. It never ends well for the people at the bottom of the pyramid. But here is the deepest layer of this problem. And this is the part that keeps the people who actually build these systems awake at night. It's not just that AI power is concentrating in human hands. It's that AI is beginning to make decisions that humans can no longer fully audit or understand. This is called the black box problem. You put data in, an answer comes out. And even the engineers who built the system cannot always explain, step by step, why it made the decision it made. This is already happening in criminal sentencing algorithms, credit scoring systems, medical diagnosis models, military targeting software decisions that affect human lives, made by systems whose reasoning is invisible, even to their creators. When AI does everything and nobody can explain why AI decided what it decided, who do you appeal to? There's an economic argument about AI, and a political argument, and a military argument. But underneath all of them is a quieter question that nobody wants to sit with. What happens to human beings, psychologically, spiritually, existentially, when AI does everything? We already have a preview. The smartphone didn't replace human cognition. It just offloaded a piece of it. Navigation, mental arithmetic, memory, spelling, social scheduling, and study after study shows that the cognitive functions we stop using atrophy. London cab drivers who memorized the knowledge, every street in London, had measurably enlarged hippocampi, the part of the brain responsible for spatial memory. Uber drivers who follow GPS do not show the same development. We are what we repeatedly do. If AI repeatedly does everything, what do we become? This is not science fiction. This is basic neuroscience. The brain is a use it or lose it organ, and we are building a world that is systematically removing the need to use it. There's something else, something harder to quantify, but impossible to ignore. Meaning. Humans have always derived a significant portion of their meaning, identity, and self-worth from work, from mastery, from the feeling of making something, solving something, teaching something. It's not just about income. It's about the deep psychological need to feel useful. What happens to that need when the machine does it better? Every time? We don't have a historical precedent for this. Every previous technological revolution still left humans at the center of production. The factory worker still operated the machine. The programmer still wrote the code. The surgeon still held the scalpel. AI is the first technology that doesn't need a human in the loop at all. And when the loop falls open, we need to ask urgently what we intend to put in its place. I promised you this video would not leave you paralyzed. So here's the honest truth. From someone who has spent a long time in this material. The people who will be most devastated by the AI revolution are not the ones who lack skills. They are the ones who lack awareness. Because awareness is the only thing that creates the gap between what is happening to you and your ability to respond to it. The jobs that AI cannot take are not the ones that require the most intelligence. They are the ones that require the most humanity, deep relational trust, physical presence, ethical judgment that accounts for lived experience, creative vision that is rooted in genuine human feeling. AI can process 10 million data points. It cannot sit with someone in their darkest moment and make them feel less alone. Not really. Not yet. And the question every person watching this video needs to be asking right now is not, will AI take my job? The question is, what is the most irreducibly human thing I do? And how do I build my entire life around that? The future is not written. The companies building AI are not omnipotent. The governments watching them are not powerless. And the individuals living through this shift are not helpless. But the window to make conscious choices about the world AI builds, rather than inheriting whatever world it builds by default. That window is open right now, and it will not stay open forever. AI doing everything is not inevitable. A world where AI does everything to us without our understanding, i.e., our consent or our direction, that is the thing we have to fight. Not with fear, with clarity. The single most dangerous thing you can do right now is nothing. Not because AI is going to destroy the world, but because the people shaping it right now, today, are making decisions that will govern your life, your children's lives, and your grandchildren's lives. And most of them are making those decisions in rooms you're not in. The least you can do is understand what's being decided. This video is a start. If you want to go deeper, the next video covers exactly which jobs AI is coming for first, and the specific skills that make you untouchable. And if this made you think, share it with one person who needs to hear it. That's how the room gets bigger. I'll see you in the next one.